From Louisiana's home team, this is Fox 8 News at 10 p.m.
Not one, but two once powerful politicians brought down by greed.
I maintain my innocence.
At one time, Ray Nagin vowed to root out corruption in a city plagued by it. Now he's the first mayor in New Orleans history charged and convicted of it.
I think it's a sad day.
And for the first time, Peter Galvin apologizes for ripping off the people of St. Tammany Parish.
I think he got caught, and he's sorry he got caught.
Once the highest paid elected official in the state, the former coroner learns his fate.
We said everything we need to say in court today.
A tale of two corruption cases and a double whammy at federal court on a day that will certainly go down in the history books. Good evening, I'm Kim Holden.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Tonight, one of the jurors who found Ray Nagin guilty of almost every count against him says the former mayor did very little to sway the jury when he took the stand.
Jurors agreed with the government that Nagin accepted money, free trips, and truckloads of granite for his family business from city contractors. They convicted the former mayor on 20 of the 21 counts against him, including bribery, conspiracy, tax evasion, and money laundering. Rob Masson talked tonight with the jury forewoman, a North Shore nurse, who describes one of the most difficult decisions of her life.
Ray Nagin himself was the key witness for the defense, often telling the jurors that others were to blame for many of the charges against him. But the jury forewoman tells us she and her fellow jurors were not swayed.
What are your thoughts on what this verdict means for this man and for the city of New Orleans?
I have that sense of sadness. I really do. It's a family that's going to go through a lot of things, and you know, everything that the city of New Orleans went through, all the residents there, it's a lot. And my heart goes out to everything involved with this.
A lot of people were wondering if Ray Nagin would take the stand. Of course he did. What are your thoughts on his testimony?
You go in there with the sense that he's innocent, but then when you see all the evidence, it was hard to stick to that thought. You know, you really tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for a lot of things, but the evidence was just too secure.
Did you buy his repeated attempts to try and blame Katrina for some of the confusion over some of these documents?
Not too much. Not too much.
And he also tried to say that the prosecutor misled you all quite a bit. Obviously, you didn't buy that either.
No. It was too evident. The evidence they had was just too much. I mean, it was just in your face every day for 8 hours, 9 hours a day. It was hard to dispute that.
Was there any one thing that he said that just made you think, we really can't trust his testimony?
I'm not sure if that's how I felt.
I mean, in one case, he was blaming Katrina for one of the trips that he took, and the trip was actually before Katrina. Right,
I do remember that. Yeah, that kind of gave you a little sense of doubt.
There was some testimony that his sons actually asked Rodney Williams for some of the money after he got a big contract. Did you feel that his sons should have testified or could have been tried in this matter?
Yeah, I kind of did, but then a bunch of us thought that because they weren't public figures, that it didn't really apply. But I did think that at one time, we all did.
The former mayor said that he had no role in Stone Age. He was a financier. Did the jury buy that?
No. No, there was a contradiction of how much ownership he had.
I mean, he admitted to paying $10,000 a month to keep it afloat as well. Did that convince you that he did have a strong role in that company?
Yeah, and the percentage of how much he was ownership in Stone Age, the percentage.
A lot of people were surprised that the verdict came in so soon. A lot of people thought that you all could be out a long time. To you, it felt like a long process, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I really thought it would not end till the end of the week. That was my thoughts Tuesday, because we were there 3.5 hours. We didn't get through very much.
What message do you hope that verdict sends out?
That politicians in the future think twice before they do anything wrong, because they got to answer to somebody one day, even if it's not the courts.
Bridget LeBlanc had nothing but praise for Judge Ginger Berrigan, who presided over this case. LeBlanc says she's relieved that she and her fellow jurors won't have to decide on Ray Nagin's sentence. The judge will do that based on federal sentencing guidelines on June 11th. Back to you.
All right, that's Rob Messon reporting. Now, Ray Nagin showed little emotion while his wife wept as the verdict was read today.
Nagin will likely spend years in federal prison as investigators uncovered a wide range of crimes across his 2 terms as mayor. Scott Satchfield reports.
Swarmed by media, former Mayor Ray Nagin emerged from federal court this afternoon guilty on 20 of 21 corruption counts.
I'm surprised. I thought that the jury would not find him guilty of any of these counts, but we will move on to appeal the appellate process.
Prosecutors said they're happy with today's outcome, but wouldn't comment further as they left the courthouse. Tonight, however, we're getting more insight into the investigation, more than 5 years in the making.
This was kind of a back to the basics case that required a lot of patience and a lot of hard work.
FBI Special Agent in Charge Michael Anderson says multiple federal agencies work together closely, conducting interviews, reviewing records, and chasing a trail of evidence that tied Nagin to numerous crimes, including bribery, wire fraud, money laundering conspiracy, and tax evasion. It all added up, Anderson says, to many different avenues for investigators to follow.
Well, I think in public corruption cases, it is unusual to have multiple transactions and schemes, not that they don't exist, but that we're able to capture them, to be able to get witnesses that will cooperate and testify to what happened in that scheme and flesh out the intent.
Investigators delved deeply into Nagin's connections with several key players, including former city contractors and his own chief of technology. Investigators tracked down emails and BlackBerry messages, bank records, and manifests for private jets. But even with the evidence trail, Anderson says challenges remained.
The fact that the case was a historical case, kind of a paper case and interviews after the fact, that it was much more difficult to establish that intent, which when you have cases where you have consensual recordings and wiretaps and you capture that intent real time, it oftentimes makes it for an easier conviction.
But Fox 8 legal analyst Joe Responti says investigators built an airtight case, one that led to guilty verdicts on all but one count.
They laid it out. It worked well for them. They got a jury that they wanted. By they, I mean the prosecution. So it's not a surprise that they came back with this verdict.
Only count with a verdict of not guilty was count 7. That one dealt with a bribery charge surrounding a $10,000 payment from Rodney Williams. Ray Nagin's sentencing is set for June 11th. That is his 58th birthday.
Wow. All right. Thanks a lot, Scott. Former St. Tammany Parish Coroner Peter Galvin gets slapped with a 2-year prison sentence and a hefty fine.
Yeah, Galvin's sentencing follows our series of body of evidence investigations detailing questionable spending in his office. During today's hearing, Galvin told the judge he apologizes to the people of St. Tammany for betraying their trust. He says he also can't get back his ruined reputation, but will do whatever he must to make the parish whole. The judge ordered Galvin to pay more than $193,000 in restitution, as well as a $5,000 fine for conspiring to steal money from the coroner's office. In addition to the restitution, Galvin must pay immediately. There will be another hearing next month to determine if he should pay any more. Even though Galvin apologized, one of the whistleblowers in the case says she doesn't think Galvin is sincere.
I don't see him as changed as much as I would have liked to have seen him. I think he got caught, and he's sorry he got caught. I'm sorry that he went this far down the road that he did, but I really don't see, as of now, any evidence that he's any different.
Galvin will report to prison April 11th.
The bulk of the money Galvin pled guilty to stealing comes from our findings in our Body of Evidence series. Last year, we uncovered Galvin gave himself lucrative pay raises and made himself the highest paid elected official in the state. Our stories also showed Galvin cashed out unused sick and vacation time, even though Facebook photos we found showed Galvin took luxurious vacations to Spain, Greece, Dubai, and the wine country. We also found the policy of the coroner's office prohibited cashing out unused time until the termination of employment. Fox 8 also focused on a contract Galvin had personally with the city of Slidell, treating sick inmates at the jail. We showed how Galvin never went to the Slidell jail, but sent his chief death investigator, Mark Lombard, who's a public employee. And Fox 8 uncovered Galvin put thousands of dollars in his public credit card for meals and personal items he claimed were for the office, but the feds found out they were for himself. You can view all of our investigations of the former coroner on our website, fox8live.com. Just click on the Fox 8 Investigates link, then Body of Evidence. A day after a 6-year-old died in a hit-and-run crash on the way to his bus stop, a 10-year-old gets his teeth knocked out by the mirror of a passing car after he exits his bus.
Yeah, victims' families cry out for change, and Lee Isaacson and our partners at the Lens have this joint investigation into school transportation safety.
He hits with the rearview mirror on his cheek, the impact dropping to the ground.
10-year-old Deshaun Dennis's father says just after Deshaun's bus dropped him off at the corner of Huntley and Berkeley Drive in Algiers, a car slammed into him as he tried to cross the street.
He crawled to the sidewalk where he stayed on the grass. He had 2 missing teeth. Well, one of them was actually cracked where they had to pull it out. He had a laceration to his tongue, which actually almost split his tongue.
The crash happened just a day after 6-year-old Shad Wilson was killed while trying to catch his bus. This surveillance video from a nearby Gentilly business shows the hit and run.
Nobody understands what I'm going through right now. So whatever needs to be done, it will make me happy to get it done.
Shad's mother addressed educators and members of New Orleans City Council who gathered to discuss safety changes to school transportation. Councilwoman LaToya Cantrell says they're now considering legislation.
That any yellow school bus providing transportation to public school kids are mandated to have not only video and audio recording, but also a bus monitor that will serve as that crossing guard if needed. So we're taking this very seriously.
I wish this had been started sooner.
According to our partners at the Lens, children wait for school buses along some of New Orleans' busiest thoroughfares, such as here on General Meyer Avenue, a 4-lane road with no neutral ground. This bus waited with its stop signs flashing for a student to cross the street before taking off. But Terry Dennis says his son's bus didn't wait.
School bus pulls off. He walks across the street, and he gets hit by the car, which was coming behind the school bus.
According to our partners at the Lens, both Deshaun and Shad's buses are owned by Hammond's Transportation, the city's largest contracted school bus company. One of many groups the city and victims' families are calling on to make changes in order to protect New Orleans children.
I just want something to be done because I never want anybody to feel how I feel ever again. I don't want anybody to ever lose a child, how I lost mine. So whatever needs to be done, just get it done.
When the Lens reached out to Hammond's Transportation regarding school transportation safety in general, a spokesperson said they have no comment. The city says today's meeting was just the first step in making safety-based changes to the school's transportation system. Our partners at the Lens have much more information on their website, thelensnola.org. Kim.
All right, thanks, Lee. The condition of a musician brutally beaten in the French Quarter improves. The brother of Doug Potter says he's now staying awake and conscious for extended periods of time. The musician is also squeezing his family members' hands and making good eye contact. Potter was critically injured when police say someone robbed and beat him just off Bourbon Street after a gig. You may have been tempted to drive down some of the most charming uptown streets, but then realized you couldn't because of private do not enter signs at the entrance. But are those streets really private?
It's sort of the folklore of uptown New Orleans, I guess. Whether it's true folklore or false folklore, we don't know yet.
Natasha Robin investigates this municipal mystery that dates back more than 100 years. Be sure to watch her special report, Streets Less Traveled, tomorrow night right here on Fox 8 News at 10. Tonight, we'll play you some voicemail messages that allege a parish president is freaking out and about to have a stroke.
Problem is, the messages may be one big lie. Sharon Peralta alleges her husband, St. Bernard Parish President David Peralta, raped and sexually assaulted her. 2 months after the alleged incident, she received a series of voicemails from her husband and an associate.
The council is on the warfare. David is having a fit, and they're getting ready to cut the funding for your job.
This phone message left a council member silent.
Sharon, this is Sharon Williams. Call me when you get a chance.
Voicemails from December 19th, 2013, left in the cell phone of Sharon Peralta, the estranged wife of Parish President David Peralta, who has accused her husband of rape and sexual assault.
Sharon, this is Sharon.
These voicemails were left by Sharon Williams, an attorney based in St. Bernard Parish. She left 7 of them in a few hours, trying to get Sharon Peralta to call her back. The reason she gives, Peralta was about to lose her job as the parish's paralegal.
Sharon, you got to call me right now. They are the council. I don't quite understand this, but the council is on the warpath. David is having a fit, and they're getting ready to cut the funding for your job. I don't understand, but you need to call me, and you need to talk to David, I guess, because don't talk to anybody on the council unless there's somebody you're real close to, and call and find out what the hell's going on. This is very strange. Call me.
A little while later, another message from Sharon Williams shortly after she claimed to receive a phone call from David Peralta.
Sharon, this is Sharon. You're scaring me now. Call me. I just want to know you're all right. David just called again. He's freaking out. He sounds like he's about to have a damn stroke. So, oh, God. He's trying to stop this thing, but I don't know. It doesn't look good. Call me.
Sharon Peralta never called Williams back, but the phone calls continued with threats. The council wanted to get rid of Sharon Peralta.
Sharon, this is what I found out so far. The council is going to use you against David to make the whole thing public and not unfund the paralegal job. Or, according to David, he talked to McGoey, who just got on a plane to go skiing. You can take a leave of absence. David said he'll put you on his hospitalization and pay for it. He said that it wouldn't disturb your pension.
The next message came from the parish president himself.
Sharon, it's David. Please give us a call. It's important. We wouldn't be calling you if it wasn't important. And it's certainly safe for you to come here or just at least call Sharon.
And a little while later, another message from Sharon Williams.
Sharon, David's gone. So I've got to warn you of what they have in mind. This is horrendous. I'm trying to keep you from getting hurt.
David Peralta then sent his wife this text message that reads, "Sweetheart, please call Sharon ASAP. This is not about me. This is about your job. We are trying to help, but need your cooperation. Please call now." A series of messages trying to get Sharon Peralta to call back based on one premise. The council wanted to defund her paralegal position. Did the council ever discuss defunding Sharon Peralta's position?
No, Lee. The council never, ever, nor did the administration ask the council to defund that position.
That premise appears to be false.
It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
In fact, the council says they never talked about defunding one position during budget talks.
I've talked to every single council member, talked to the finance director, and that statement in itself is a lie. I don't know how else to say it.
We played all of the voicemail messages for the budget chairman.
Were you on the warpath?
Absolutely not. All 7 members were not on the warpath. I mean, who are we on a warpath to get? Sharon Peralta, Dave Peralta. I don't know. We didn't defund anyone's job, so we couldn't have been on a warpath. The council shouldn't be brought into this dispute between President Peralta and his wife.
All of this leads to one question. Why did David Peralta and Sharon Williams leave these messages?
I mean, all I can think, Lee, is that there was an attempt to get her to call someone. Very simple.
Sharon Peralta's attorney agrees. He told us in a statement the morning of the voicemails, Sharon Peralta left a message for the St. Bernard District Attorney, Jack Rowley, asking for the office to recuse itself from the rape investigation. Sharon Peralta's attorney told us after speaking with District Attorney Jack Rowley that same day, Sharon Peralta was inundated with phone calls and a text message from David Peralta and associates. Sharon Peralta believes this was an attempt to get her out of hiding, to meet with him by using the council to threaten her job so that he could stop her from pursuing the Attorney General's office. Hey, Miss Williams. We called Sharon Williams. She declined our request for an on-camera interview. We emailed David Peralta last Thursday for a comment. He replied he would be most happy to address this matter. But a few minutes later, he emailed again and asked for a transcript or copy of the voicemails. We didn't have a transcript available, so we sent him a summary. He responded, that helps. But on Friday, we got a letter from Peralta saying he wouldn't comment without a transcript. So we sent him one. Peralta never got back to us with any statement.
It's an embarrassment. So that's how I look at it. And I wish none of this would be going on.
One council member says the turmoil between David Peralta and his wife gives the parish a black eye. Guy McGinnis is still trying to figure out the details behind a series of messages in December that ended with Sharon Williams leaving her 7th message in a few hours.
Sharon, I'm not going to call you again, honey. You've hurt my feelings. You think I've gone to David's side, and I haven't. But I have been trying to make sure you can get another job. So I wish you all the luck in the world, and I imagine it's going to be a hard time, but Merry Christmas, David. Bye.
The McGoey mentioned in one of the voicemails is William McGoey, the parish attorney. Councilman Guy McGinnis said one thing was accurate in the voicemails. McGoey did go skiing in December, which was referenced by Sharon Williams in one message.
All right, well, Hoodats will not see 4 veteran players in black and gold when the team kicks off next season. The Saints' latest roster moves coming up in sports.
And last night we had all this rain around. I'll take you back in time to show you. Tomorrow, much better. Your Weather Authority forecast coming up.
Now, your most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Breck.
Let's back up to last night at 10 o'clock. We were watching this line of heavy showers come on through, move it to midnight, and it moves across the city. By 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. it was east of us, with the rain getting out of here before morning drive. Now, it gave most of my weather observers 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, coupled with the day before's rain, and we had a good soaker. But alas, that is all gone. It's pounding the East Coast. Nasty weather going up away from us. It's going away from us. And as that goes away, all we have to deal with is one night tonight of really cold air. And this cold air grips all of the southeast, but it is milder out to our west. That's what's coming our way, not the bitter cold that's retreated back up here into Canada. That will come southward, but it's not coming down towards us, despite the fact we'll have another front late Friday night into Saturday. We have a dramatic warm-up coming that will maybe get our temperatures back up to near 60 as soon as tomorrow. It's going to feel much better. So one storm system goes up the coast. Here's this next feature coming on down. And the way they play out is as the one moves away from us, high pressure is going to build across us. This is overnight now as we head into tomorrow. And you see the warmer air because the wind direction shifts. We won't have the north wind. We're going to go to a west wind, and that will warm us up. This other front coming down for after dark on Friday might spawn a shower, probably not. Saturday, slightly cooler, but no major cooling coming. We're kind of chilly tonight, though. A couple of spots north are freezing, and it's going to get maybe upper 20s up there. The rest of us should stay right above freezing or just touch it briefly. It's no big deal. Strong winds will keep, you don't have to worry about any frost with those kind of winds out there. So tonight, you want to bundle up, a light freeze north. But after that, things do get better because the sun is back. That'll warm us up tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. We're talking maybe upper 50s. As we get into Friday, upper 60s. And, well, no, we come down a little bit on Saturday with that weak front. But look at Sunday. We could touch 70. And next week, oh, we could be in the 70s almost every day. Could this be the end of winter?
Yes.
Well,
No.
Bob, come on.
Yes.
That's not nice.
No, it won't. We'll have it come back, but each time it comes back, it may not be as bad, so that's the good news. Don't get greedy.
Why
Well,
not?
yeah, we know.
Yes,
No,
why not?
No,
We
let's
should.
not. All right, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. All right, Saints no more. The Black and Gold are a forced to part company with 4 veterans.
The roster moves coming up next in sports.
on Louisiana's home team. This is Fox 8 News at 10 p.m.
With your Wednesday sports, they're called cap casualties. NFL teams have a ceiling on how much money they can spend on players. The Saints were over it, so somebody had to go, and Wednesday there were 4 somebodies who really were somebodies during the Saints Super Bowl run. Will Smith, Jabari Greer, Roman Harper, all have been released. Free agent Jonathan Vilma will not be pursued by the team next season. On the youth movement front, the Saints did sign linebacker Keonta Dawson to a 1-year deal believed to be the veteran minimum of roughly $500,000. On the floor, Pelicans closing out the pre-All-Star break portion of the calendar in Milwaukee. Bucks, man, 9 wins coming in. They're terrible. Ursa Ilyasova gives the Bucks, though, a 6-point lead. They're awful. But here come the Pelicans in the second half. Al-Farouq Aminu with the steal. Frequency change approved. Good day. The difference maker with AD in foul trouble most of the game, Alexis Ajinça. And 7 Pelicans scoring in double digits in the game as they go on to win. Also in college ball, LSU takes its 8th loss of the season, 83-78 at College Station. Every Aggie on the floor or on the roster scored in the game.
At least we know you don't hide what you think, right?
No, 9 wins, you're terrible.
All right.
I agree.
I can't put perfume on a pig. I can't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Hickman, thank you.
He'll be here all week.
And tomorrow he will be here all week. And tomorrow's TV Street, much more on former Mayor Ray Nagin's guilty verdict and 20 of the 21 counts against him. That's in tomorrow's edition of TP Street.
Tonight's big Powerball jackpot has people dreaming about a life of luxury. In case you missed them, here's another look at the winning numbers: 36, 44, 49, 52, 57. The Powerball is 1. Tonight's jackpot is worth an estimated $286 million.
You say Fred Hickman will be here all week. Well, he will
Yeah.
because he lost the Powerball.
Not
So did
one
he,
digit.
apparently.
Yeah.
I'm hearing over
Not
here.
one digit. How do you not get one digit
It
right?
happens all the time.
Well, that's
Sorry.
you're worse than that basketball team. That's it is.
No.
Thanks for watching.
Good night. Our next news is at 5 a.m.
Fox 8 is proudly locally owned.